Hey there everyone, good Saturday morning to you. Welcome to the workshop. On the bench today is a new guitar. It is a Yamaha FGX800C, and I picked it up in a relatively inexpensive guitar. I love the look of it. It's a very nice looking guitar. Solid spruce top. It is laminated back and sides, but since 85-90% of the sound is generated from the top and what's associated with the top, things like saddle and strings and all of that. I definitely wanted a solid top guitar. This guitar does have sealed closed tuners that work really well, so we won't be messing with any of that. Let me just kind of do this as a review slash upgrade type video, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain just a couple of things, and there really are just a couple. Price point on this guitar. And so get ready to kind of wrap your head around this. Price point on this guitar with a solid spruce top and electronics is $299, and that is shipped to my house. So that is, in my opinion, really affordable for a guitar that has a solid top and electronics and all the things that I was looking for. It has the cutaway, tip that up, it's got the cutaway, all of that, so you can play up in here no problem. The action's a little high. All right, so kind of again review slash upgrade. The sound of the guitar, let me just strum it for you. It's got a really good sound. So there's just strum on it. It does have a good sound. So a couple of things that I don't like are the saddle and the nut would be the first things that I don't like about it. If you look at the specs, it's made out of a material that they call urea, I think it is. U-R-E-A, is that, I think. I'm just going off my memory here. I'd have to actually pull up the specs and see, but I think that's correct. And it's some sort of a plastic, but it's got this really horrible odor to it. So the guitar comes, and it came and it was all wrapped up and nice and all of that, and all you could smell once the wrapping came off was just this odor, and it's coming from this plastic. So that's the first thing that I don't like. Next thing that I don't like is this is a brand new guitar. Not a used, not a refurbished, not open box, not a demo, anything like that. This is a brand new guitar. And if I take my straight edge, let me find, can you hear it? It's an uneven spot in the frets. So got a little raised spot on that fret there. And there's several of those down through here. There's another one. And I'm just trying to remember a few spots that I found. So once I drop the action down, I'm hoping that I don't have to do any kind of fret work to, because again, I like to get the action down 5/64, 4/64. There you go, guitar guys. Actually did it on that one. And so when I bring that action down, of course, the closer you get to the frets, if they're uneven, you can get string buzz. So we're going to try to bring this down about like that, and hopefully we're not going to have any buzz. I've done some preliminary measuring. Okay, so we're talking about things that I don't like. So that was the second thing that I didn't like. And I'm sure if you check your brand new guitar and all of that, especially if you bought a low-end guitar like this, you'll find lower end guitar. I mean, it's a $299, so it's not a a $3,000 Taylor, or a $5,000 Martin, or any of those kinds of guitars. So it is what it is. So if I have to address it, I'll address it. I have the ability to do it with my my sanding blocks. I'm assuming it's a 12-inch radius. That's pretty standard on a dread. It is a dreadnought body, by the way. So first thing I don't like, the saddle and nut. So number one, I can change that, and I'm going to. The next thing I don't like is the unevenness in the frets. I can take care of that as well. So next thing that I don't like, it has electronics, and it has an end pin, but it has no strap button here on the neck. So that's the third thing that I don't like. Oh, I don't even have you in the camera. Sorry about that. Let me lower things back down there to make sure. Let me lift the camera just a little bit. There we go. So there's no strap button, and I'm not a fan of wrapping a strap. Some people will take a strap and they'll use like some leather or a shoestring or something like that, and they'll tie the strap. I'm not a fan because it hits your strings up here, and I don't like anything interfering with the strings. So what I'm going to do is put a strap button on it, because I have one of those here in the shop. I've already marked the spot on the neck. Can you see that? Zoom in a little bit. There you go. I've already marked the spot where the strap button's going. I'll explain to you how I did that. But three things that I don't like. So not bad really for an inexpensive guitar to only have three things that I don't like. Things that I do like: solid top, sound. Again, it's got a good sound. We're going to improve that. I'm going to put a tusk saddle. I'm a fan of the tusk saddles. I found a bone nut in my hoard that has the same string spacing as the one that's on there, so I'm hoping it looks like it's even the same width. So I'm hoping that I can just swap this guy, and the string height is good, so I'm hoping I can just swap this guy, maybe a little bit of tweaking on it, and get this bone nut installed. So we'll have a tusk saddle bone nut that will improve the sound even more. So things that I like the tuners. They're very responsive. I just, again, the solid top, the look of the guitar, the electronics. Let me show you this. I wish all the vendors, to be honest with you, would go to this. This guitar runs on 2 AA batteries, not a 9-volt, but a AA batteries. So yeah, there's way more that I like about the guitar than I don't. Otherwise, I wouldn't keep it. I would just send it back. But way more that I like about the guitar than I don't. So there's the intro part. I've done some initial measuring on the guitar, and our string action needs to come down, and the truss rod is too tight. It needs to be backed off. So that's kind of where we're headed. We're going to use the existing strings. I will take them off and put them back on, but we're going to use the existing strings, and the saddle is going to get replaced. I've got a tusk compensated saddle that I'll fit in there, and I've done the little drop test thing for you. I prefer the tusk because I think it rings more even than bone. I've got a bone nut. Again, it's similar string, or the exact string spacing that I need. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the strings off. Let me pause you. I'm going to get the strings off, and I'll bring you back, and we'll see what we got once the strings are off the guitar. Okay, I'm back with you. I got the strings. As you can see, the strings are off the guitar. So what I've done is I've taken from my measurements. Can you try to zoom you in so you can see here? Focus camera. Come on. There we go. So you can see I've made marks on both ends. This is the original saddle. That's how much. This is 50 thousandths. That's 70 thousandths. So that's how much needs to come off. What I'll do is draw a line across there and take a measurement, transfer that over to the tusk saddle, because it is going to be, it's actually a little wider. Let's see if I can show you this. Here's the tusk saddle. So let's just kind of hold it up here. So it's a little bit wider. So I'll take, what I'll do is I'll spend some time and file and round off both ends and get it to fit in the slot really nicely. And then it's also taller, so quite a bit taller actually. See that? Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll carefully take some measurements there, and then I'll take this to a sander and get the majority of that off and do some final fitting there. So that's the first thing we're going to do, is get the saddle fit in there nicely. And I did not measure, I'm guessing it's just a 12, just double check that. Actually it is not. Let's see what it is. 12, maybe a 14. Nope, it is a 16-inch radius neck. Interesting, 16-inch neck. Okay, so hopefully we don't have to do anything with the frets, because I don't think I have a 16-inch radius block. Anyway, cross that bridge when we get to it. The other thing, again, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to replace this plastic nut with this. I'm going to attempt to use this bone nut. Now, to get this out, really pretty simple. Long as it's, at least most of the time it is, unless somebody just glues them in really, really poorly. Let's see, grab a little block, and then just a little cloth to kind of protect things here. And what I do is I just put the block, the edge of the block, up against the nut, tap it with the hammer, and it will, this is a rubber hammer, so, you know, rubber type hammer. I usually just put a piece of cloth. This is just an old cut up t-shirt, just to protect things. Again, you don't want to do damage, just, and then a couple of taps. That's all there is to it. The glue is broken loose, it's moving. There it goes. So all right, got rid of that. Just a little bit of scraping in there to clean up the glue. I could grab the calipers. Listen, if you're going to do this kind of work, man, you need some calipers, that's for sure. And let's see what we got. I'm going to measure about midway of the nut here. 0.394. And then what do we got here? Oh, this one's actually shorter. Yeah, this one may not work. This one's about 0.34, so it's about 50 thousandths shorter. All right, well, we may be, I've got some blanks here. Just some bone blanks, so we may be doing that, cutting a either way, we'll get it done. Just takes a little more time making it from scratch, but that's okay. I can definitely do that. Not a big deal. I got the bone to do it. So there we go. All right, so that kind of gets you up to speed as to what it is I'm gonna do. What's the other thing that I need to do? So I need to work on the saddle, make a nut, and I'm not gonna do that on camera. I'm just kind of showing you what I need to do here, and I'm gonna do it off camera, and then I'll bring you back and kind of let you see how everything ends up. Let me show you about this strap button. Hang on, I'm gonna move you a little bit, so I'll try not to give you too much of a rough ride here, but I want you to be able to kind of see what I'm looking at here. Maybe zoom a little bit like that. Tip the guitar. There we go. So you can kind of see right here, that's where the strap button is going to go. So how I determine, and there's probably lots of different ways to do this, but I'm not a fan. So you'll see a lot of times strap buttons go here. If you put a strap button here and you have a strap button here, I guarantee at some point in time your guitar has fallen forward, and hopefully it doesn't hit the ground. But I'm a proponent under here. I think it balances the guitar really well. So what I do is I measure half of the distance this way and then half of the distance this way. So we're halfway. That's where this mark is. And then for the, let me find it, here's the strap button that's going to go on there. I've got a little felt pad that goes on the bottom side of it so it doesn't scratch the guitar. And then the drill bit that I'm going to use to drill in, and I'm going to just drill in, well, man, not working the camera very well, am I? So I'm going to drill in kind of that way, and I need to go in about a ½ inch. I will measure it, I haven't yet, but it looks to me about a ½ inch of screw exposed there. And so the strap button will go right there, and the drill bit is approximately half the size of the screw, which everything I've read about woodworking, that's kind of the, when you're drilling pilot holes, you want something that's approximately half the size of the screw. And then if I have issues with this going in, once I get the pilot hole in there, then I'll just put some wax on here, and that will help the threads cut into the wood. It'll help it go in easier. So that's kind of the plan. So that's what I'm going to do for this guitar. So when I come back to you, I'm going to pause you, of course. When I bring you back, you're going to see, I'm going to have the, let me zoom back out here, looking at the back of the guitar now. Again, it's a very pretty guitar. It really is. It's a sharp looking, very nice looking guitar. It does, oh, one other thing I forgot to mention that I like, the body is gloss, matte neck. If you ever played, like I do outdoor gigs and all that, and if you've ever played and on a shiny neck and get sweaty hands, man, you'll be thankful for that. So when I come back to you, the guitar will have strings on it again, and I will have fit the tusk saddle, the bone nut, put the strings back on, as well as have the strap button done, and I'll show you everything when I come back with you. Welcome back. Just to finish up, I kind of explained in the first part what all I was going to do, what I like about this guitar, what I didn't. Again, it's the Yamaha FGX800C. Let me hold it up here so you can see it. It's a solid spruce top guitar. It is laminated back and sides, but very pretty guitar. So just a recap here. I installed the tusk saddle. I made a bone nut, got that installed. The action's really nice. Again, my typical for those of you people who just want to fuss at me for not using 64ths, 5/64ths, 4/64ths. There you go. There's the action. I did some cleanup because all of the dust and everything got on the guitar, and so it's all cleaned up. It's ready to go. I thought I would just play it a little bit and let you see how it sounds. Again, the bone nut 18 thousandths pretty much on the mark there across for the first fret action. The strap button is installed. That's solid. That's not going anywhere. The end pin is the other end for the strap, so it's a combination strap end pin jack. And of course it has the electronics, and I said double A batteries on that. The tuner is really nice on this too. It's got a built-in tuner, so it's got a few bells and whistles. Let me just play a few chords. Got a pretty good sound to it. Intonation is spot on. I checked all of that. The compensated tusk saddle kept the intonation right where it needed to be, so everything was great at the 12th fret, intonation wise. Nothing. I'm playing with a tusk pick, the heavy one. It's the one, I believe it's the 1 millimeter, 1.00. And I've just really come to like this tusk pick. I think it really helps with the sound. Anything that contact, blowing some dust off that I saw underneath the strings down in here. But yeah, just a really pretty guitar. Really pretty guitar. There's the front and the back. It's got a really nice sound. That spruce top just rings. The coated strings are nice. These are the Diodario strings. They're light strings, 12 to 53s. It's got a nice ring to it. So thanks for following along on this. Again, this is a new guitar that just doing a setup on and a few upgrades on it. And I'm glad that you followed along on this. If you're looking for a nice, I would consider this just a great entry-level guitar, even if you didn't want to do the upgrades as far as the bone nut and the tusk saddle. Still, for $299 to get into a solid top guitar, that's just a really good deal, and it'd be a good player. It really is a good playing guitar. So thanks for following along. I'm going to get this in the case and get it all ready, try to get it to where it's going and get it delivered. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on the channel.